Hey GenderqueerChat, happy Thursday, it's Matt, and I've kind of moved into the Thursday spot to join Ricky from this week, so you may see Ricky and myself alternating weeks with videos, or you may see us both posting on the same day, on the same week, or you may, on some occasions, see us together in the same video on the same day of the same week, which would be kind of exciting, for me at least. But yeah, so you may see some other changes on the channel as well, maybe some other people shifting days, or you may see some new faces. We've been a little bit slow of late, myself being probably the main offender of that, so apologies, but hopefully we'll pick up steam and get back going again and give you videos every day, and we'll have some new faces on board and some new topics to talk about and stuff like that. So if you are interested in becoming a sub for GenderqueerChat or contributing, then feel free to still make us an audition video. All you have to do is just make a video letting us know who you are, something about yourself, what you can bring to the channel. Just add that as a video response to one of the videos this week or last week or next week or any video, and we will definitely watch it and get back in contact with you. So yeah, I've missed a few topics, and they've been really good ones the last few weeks as well. So I'm going to talk about last week's topic because I found that one particularly interesting, as well as this week's topic, and see how we go. So last week's was suggested by one of our friends on Facebook. And it was actually a bit of an expansion of an idea that Quincy had kind of talked about a few videos ago in regards to sort of gender in a perfect world. So the person who asks us this question asks, what is your vision for an ideal gender culture in society? Yeah, I find this really interesting. I think we've all probably thought about this at some stage when we're sort of questioning gender and the limitations of our particular model of gender in our society, the thing that tends to bring us the grief and makes us aware that there's something going on there to make us question our gender in the first place. So I think we've all probably thought about this at some stage. So as for actually answering though, like what is a perfect or what is an ideal kind of model of gender? So I think the limitations of the socially constructed model of gender that we have in our contemporary modern westernized society is, I don't think the whole concept of having gender as a thing or a social construction is necessarily a negative thing. I just think that it's not particularly constructive the way that it's laid out in our particular culture and society. So I think the root of that is the notion, the idea of the gender binary, that there's only two genders based on sort of rigid categorization of physical attributes. So we have men and women, male and females, masculine and feminine people, and as far as our culture and society is concerned, there's not a hell of a lot in between. Not much scope for sort of variation or any sort of difference without it being a big deal. So in my kind of ideal gender culture, I think it would just be a system that allowed for more freedom of expression and just an awareness and openness that there are, well, first of all, the gender is a separate and distinct thing to sex. So we have our sex categorization of male and female, even though that itself is also limiting and incorrect, but sort of divorce gender from sex once and for all, separate the two things, and no longer tying our idea of gender to the two sexes, which means we have much more scope of experience for people with different genders. As Christina said in their video, like, we don't need to put a number of genders. I don't know if it's particularly helpful to say, okay, 3, 4 or 5 genders, or pick a number, because we all express this idea of gender in a different way. So we are all a combination of so-called masculine and so-called feminine attributes, which is people, and we have different socializations, and we have different internal kind of characteristics, and we have different ways of being and feeling and acting and expressing, and that should all be good, and that should be our own gender. Like, each person, said this a few times, each person should be their own gender, and everyone's got their own unique gender. None of us are the same. It's only when we try and get categorized or pushed into boxes of a particular socially constructed notion of gender, like male and female, that it causes problems and resistance and stuff. So my ideal gender culture would be one that was fluid and open and accommodating of a variety of different expressions of gender, removed from and completely separate from the idea of sex, and in that sense as well sexuality, because I think we need to separate those two things as well, because yeah, So that would be my kind of ideal world. I'd like a world where gender mattered but didn't matter, where it was still a thing, but it wasn't something that was used in a negative way. But that's a completely naive kind of thing, because as long as you have different classes, and as long as you have different categorizations, and as long as you can say this person is different to this person for whatever reason, then you have a already inbuilt system for oppressing a person or discrimination. So it's kind of invalid in that sense too. But if we were just a little bit more open and accommodating in society, where we could see that gender wasn't just this strict binary idea, I think that would go a long way to being my ideal gender culture. Also, the bonus question for that week is what has been your favourite concerts? So music, dance, plays, comedy, or whatever. So I've been to lots of gigs in my time. I enjoy seeing live music, but not so much the best one I've been to, but I'm really excited because I am going to Canada in the next few weeks, and while I'm there I will be seeing quite a number of bands that I really like, including Bad Religion and Against Me. So I'll be seeing them in Toronto. And Against Me, if you don't know, are a punk band from the US, and their singer recently, in the last 12 months or so, came out openly as transgender, more specifically transsexual. And so I saw them a few years ago live, and at that stage the singer, whose name at the time was Tom, was a male-bodied, male-presenting, and identified at least in the public eye as male, as the front man of the band, and this time around will be female, and that's kind of awesome, and I'm really interested to, I just think that's awesome, so that's cool. So I'm looking forward to that. So this week's question is, talk about the people in your life who have been most supportive or understanding of your gender questioning, who sees you as you. So I think I'm lucky enough to have a couple of people in my life who I would think see me as me, at least in the in the best possible way that people can, without with only knowing what you can show them, I guess. And specifically in regards to gender questioning, I've had one particular friend who's been really supportive and understanding, and has kind of been there throughout the whole process, who I've been able to talk with and bounce things off and stuff, and they've been really supportive, and I think they do genuinely see me as me. I think they see my gender as I see my gender, and they treat me accordingly, and one of the very few people that at least have some awareness that certain things that get said to me, or certain assumptions that are made, make me uncomfortable, and have internalized that and integrated that into the way that they treat me and interact with me, so that it's a non-issue. So I've been really lucky with that particular person. Also, I'm lucky enough to have a partner who I very much feel sees me as me. Luckily, we kind of share a similar idea about gender, so that really helps. And it's nice to be with someone and be able to communicate with someone who kind of gets you and sees you as much as a person can, and that's something that's like really valuable and awesome. That's two people, and that's kind of not a lot of people considering all the people you interact with, but to me, at least, having those two people is enough kind of validation. It's just enough to make me feel good and okay with stuff. But with the previous question about the ideal gender culture, I don't know if those two things are exclusive. Like, I don't think it's possible for us gender-variant, genderqueer people. I don't know if it's possible for other people in our culture and society just to, kind of inherently know and understand who we are, at least at this point in time, not without a lot of education, explaining, and some more time passing and some more acceptance. So I'm lucky enough to have two people who really, I feel, get me and see me as me, or at least do their very best to be accommodative of my gender and my questioning, and supportive and all that, and that's really cool. Actually, I probably should end this, but I actually got to open up to my parents about my gender a few weeks ago. They came to help me move house, and we were actually in a restaurant, and we were talking about something, I can't remember what, and my mum asked me what my interest was in stuff between like gender and sexuality and stuff. And I kind of told them, and it was, you know, I had a really lengthy discussion with my mum. We talked about it a bit later, and I even showed her some of my GenderqueerChat videos and some of the videos from the other presenters, and yeah, it was really interesting, and she was actually really cool with it, I guess. She asked questions, she sort of engaged me on it, and didn't hassle me, and that felt really nice. And it's odd because I've never really felt this burning desire to talk to my parents or family about my gender stuff, so it was a bit out of left field, and yeah, that kind of gives me hope that, you know, people can change, and yeah, that's awesome. Cool, okay, well that's enough from me. I will see you next week or on another Thursday, and try and be a bit more regular with my videos, so I'll catch you all later.